You've awakened. I trust you can walk.
Unlock these shackles and I'll show you exactly what I'm capable of.
You are in the heart of our empire now. I assure you, escape is impossible, even if you could make it past me. Come along.
Hello everyone, my name is Jerry and welcome back to 3am Rambles. And Jerry, you've been doing a lot of 3am Rambles lately, haven't you? And I've just had a lot of stuff to ramble about. I've been wanting to do more stuff sort of like behind the scenes. It's content that, strangely enough, despite its small viewership, people have always asked for. And as I have increasingly uphill battles with copyright holders, it's kind of become an interesting staple, especially now that I no longer have date night to sort of like bounce topics off of Lizzie. And I've actually been trying to make 3am Rambles shorter, to sort of have them just be like little editorials to sort of address a particular issue within a handful of videos. Because I find that addressing issues in Glass of Water doesn't work, because Glass of Water has a very specific presentation style, and oftentimes, especially when it comes to issues with the audience, Glass of Water is just not the place for that. I wanted to talk about something because it's a question I get a lot. And well, not to the same repetition, but I get it often enough to be somewhat worrisome. Every now and again, I'll have someone come into my inbox and ask, Jerry, why do so many people hate you? That's strange. You guys will probably think that's strange, because I know for a fact that most people don't hate me. In fact, most people like, I have about 37,000 subscribers. I think it stands to reason that most people like. There are a handful of people who hate me, but the problem, and here's the thing, and I know that the internet tends to make, minorities particularly noisy. A vocal minority is always extremely noisy, and a silent majority may as well not exist. At least for as useful as it is, it may as well not exist. There's a very small number of people who have this seething hatred of me. Unbelievably seething hatred of me. Some of them go as far as to spread some of the strangest rumors I've ever heard. I've seen like rumors up the fucking ass. I won't repeat most of them. They're pretty bog standard as far as brony YouTubers go. They aren't very creative, frankly. Pick anything a brony could possibly be accused of out of thin air. Yeah, it's in the list. It is the list. I think it goes without saying that there's really no point in addressing baseless accusations. I personally have, I have seen so many pointless celebrity scandals throughout the years that I have a personal policy regarding, rumors regarding any notable personality. Show me a court verdict or don't fucking bother me with it. And that's it. Simple. And I apply that to every single celebrity scandal. Anything that involves a slightly noteworthy YouTuber. Show me a court verdict or don't bother me with it. Well, what if it wasn't a crime? Then why the fuck are you giving a shit? If they didn't do anything illegal, what the fuck are you on about? Why is it that despite acknowledging that there are people who hate me, I don't seem to recognize, I don't buy into the idea that I'm controversial or polarizing. Simple. Look at the fucking ratings on most of my videos. Most of my videos get extremely positive receptions. Self-destruction, the video I expected to get anger and vitriol thrown at me for, I expected it. And I was fully ready to accept that. And I went into that video in the full knowledge that this was probably going to happen, and it didn't. The response to that video was overwhelmingly positive. I did a poll on what was your favorite episode of Glass of Water a little while back. I did a straw poll. Self-destruction was number 1. That is the most beloved video I've ever made, and it's the most directly controversial video where I knew right from the word go, a lot of people are going to be really angry at me about this. I was wrong. Most people loved it. A handful of people think I'm being unnecessarily cruel toward people with depression. Oh well. That's the thing. It's just a very small number of people. Maybe I think I've kept about if I was keeping a count, I put it at maybe at most 30 people. 30 people who hate me enough to spend time on forums complaining about me. 30. As opposed to the 37,000 that I have following my content. 37,000. 30. So no, not a lot of people hate me. I have never bought into the idea that my content is polarizing. It's not. It has never been polarizing. Even Glass of Water is very basic critical analysis. Some of the most basic critical analysis. I don't in any way believe that I'm up there with really good critics like Mr. Croshaw, Silverquill, even Josh, and you know, there's even people in the analysis community who have less subscribers than me, but they are better critics than me because they've been doing it longer than I have. I do just some like very basic, broad, general, big picture topics. I don't review an episode. I discuss a particular topic or trend within the community. This is why I've always been iffy on whether or not it's a good idea to call myself a critic. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but I know for a fact is, despite claims otherwise, I'm not polarizing because my content is very well received. The most downvotes I've ever gotten on a video was the top 10 worst musical numbers. Really, top 10 worst musical numbers. Even the top 10 worst episodes was fairly well received. But yeah, worst musical numbers. And really, that just comes down to the fact that I said something negative about someone's favorite TV show. That's really all that claims that I'm polarizing come from. That's all they've ever been. I criticize someone's favorite episode or their favorite song or their favorite character, and then as far as they're concerned, I'm controversial. No, I'm not. That's not the definition of controversial. Controversial is when you go massively against the grain, all right? Controversial is trying to defund Planned Parenthood. That's controversial. It's not controversial to say that Find the Music in You is not a very good song. It's never been controversial. Mind you, the internet has always been particularly hysterical. The internet lends itself very well toward extremism because the internet allows people to build their own communities. And what happens in a community? You either toe the line or you're forcibly removed. And most communities aren't very good. Sturgeon's law applies to fandoms by and large. It's a strange trend I've seen on the internet, and I honestly think the internet and social media makes people act dumber. Now, this is a very small sample size, but I'll show you what I mean. I can talk to my older brother, and he tends to have relatively reasonable conversations. You know, he can articulate himself well. You can hold a conversation with the guy. In real life, sociable person. Not a very agreeable person, especially in regards to women, but a sociable person. Suddenly, he gets on Facebook, and it's like his favorite letters are O and L because he's got lol at the end of every sentence. Sup, lol? What you doing, lol? Ha ha ha, lol. Ha ha ha, lol, lol, lol. It's like watching someone's IQ drop 60 points in a nanosecond. And my mother works the same way. Very sociable, very, extremely able to hold a conversation, very smart. You put her in a Facebook comment section, and it's like she's slapping the thing with her fucking palms. And I can't explain it. I've never been able to explain it. But that's what the internet does to people. Strange. It's strange. And I wish I could explain it. But I want to understand, but you don't. So in real life, you could say The Dark Knight was a terrible movie. And the most you'll get is maybe a, okay, or a shrug. That's mostly what you'll get. Especially if you're talking to someone who really wasn't interested in engaging with the conversation in the first place. You say the same thing on a message board, and holy Christ, it's like someone let the hounds loose. But even then, that's a very small sample size of people. You know, for the most part, people don't do that. That's why I tend to be very surprised when people say, oh, Jerry's very polarizing. To who? To who? And I had to ask, to who? Because I look at my own feedback, and I delete more positive comments than negative. Because I actually very rarely get negative comments. Question, does it qualify as a negative comment if all the person is doing is telling me I'm wrong? Because I don't think that counts as a negative comment. That's just a comment. Someone comes in and says, I think you're wrong and here's why. That's not a negative comment. That's just a comment. A negative comment would be something along the lines of, you suck, go kill yourself, or, this video is not particularly well put together. That's a negative comment. Contesting the actual, weight of the video, that's not a negative comment. Because Glass of Water especially was designed for that. That's what I was trying to make happen is happening. I want there to be like some degree of a discussion. For the most part, there isn't much worth addressing. Oftentimes, I see when I'm sitting in there in the approval queue, and I'll see a contesting argument, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Clearly this person didn't watch the video. Because I've noticed this several times. They're asking me questions that are addressed in the video. Somebody asked me on the self-destruction video, well, how would you deal with someone who is suicidal? When I say this clearly in the video. I say it clearly in the video. If someone close to me threatens suicide, I drag them kicking and screaming into a psychiatric ward to doctors who are more equipped to handle them than I am. And that's it. And that was the answer to that question. And then someone asked me, what would you do in that situation? I just fucking told you. But the majority of the comments are mundane. They're mundane, banal, empty-headed crap. Positive, mundane, banal, empty-headed crap. You know, aside from all the comments saying first and being immediately banned, they tend to be just good video, great, lol, I love your videos, just stuff like that. You know, sort of like the kind of spam that are the reason I have the approval system on in the first place. So where does this concept that I'm polarizing come from? Well, I tend to look through some of the people who like to claim that I'm polarizing, and it's always people who seem to have this absurd, irrational hatred of me, which I've never understood. You know, I get accused of hating people all the time. I don't. You know, it's like, oh, you hate Digi. No, I don't. You hate Tommy. No, I don't. It's like, I thought you liked Silverquill. Why do you hate him now? When are you getting this information? It's because I criticize someone. As far as the internet is concerned, criticism equates to hatred. That's just people being idiots, really. What else am I going to call it? I suppose that could probably lead to people thinking I'm polarizing, is that I'm frequently talking down to my viewer base. Well, have you seen my viewer base? I love my viewers. Really. Once in a while, I find a viewer who is either really funny or really insightful. But I got 37,000 people. I've got 37,000 subscribers. There's no way every single one of them is a budding critic just waiting to happen. It just doesn't. Come on, guys. We've all seen YouTube. We've all seen what happens on unregulated YouTube channels. Strangest comment I ever got. But going back to the kind of feedback I tend to get, at least the kind of feedback that likes to assert that I'm controversial, it always comes from people who hate everything. Who just hate everything about me. They hate me as a critic, they hate me as a pundit, they hate me as a comedian, they call me pointless buzzwords like SJW. I don't make content for those people. I've never made content for those people. I've never made content for people who don't want to, you know, stop and think. This is especially true with Glass of Water. I made Glass of Water. Glass of Water is deliberately contrarian. I don't go out of my way to, you know, be contrarian, but I try to find I try to find topics in Glass of Water that people typically don't talk about a lot, or look at something from a point of view that people don't talk about. I don't go out of my way to have contrarian opinions, but I do put in enough effort into my scripts to have at least something to say that goes against the grain of popular thought. Because that's how I keep Glass of Water interesting, okay? That's what keeps it interesting for me, and I think by and large that's what keeps it interesting for you. For the most part, most people know that if they come into an episode of Glass of Water on a given topic that has been covered by many people, I'm not going to just be regurgitating the same stuff that other people have said. I won't be doing that. Most people like that, and I don't want to just regurgitate everything people have said. So sometimes I got to be a little contrary. I'm never dishonest, frankly. If I find a Glass of Water topic, if I find a topic where I hold the exact same opinions as everyone else in the community, I just don't do that video. I just won't make a video on it. Fact is, people wanted me to do a Glass of Water on how Tanks with Memories was about the 5 stages of grief. Well, my first thought was, well, do I think it's not about the 5 stages of grief? Well, no, I clearly do think it's about the 5 stages of grief. Even if not directly, that's what happened. That's what happened within the context of the show. But that's what everyone was saying. And Dr. Wolf and Silverquill said it far better than I ever could. So why bother doing it? Why do it? I'll just be repeating what they say, and it won't be fun. It won't be fun to make. It's not. Look, I'm someone who likes to think. I like to come at something from a new angle. I like a puzzle. I like a puzzle that I have to solve. And I like presenting new ideas for you guys to consider. That's the basis for Glass of Water. I can't do that if I'm just repeating what everyone else is saying. If I'm just here to be another person to confirm what you were already thinking. But of course, YouTube doesn't work like that, does it? Now, YouTube fuels the confirmation bias. That's what the confirmation bias has existed for since the dawn of fucking time. So asking people to think just a little bit outside the box doesn't work a lot of the times, and this is kind of where Glass of Water tends to fail, is because I'm deliberately asking people to look at a topic from a different angle. I'm asking people to, be a little flexible in their thoughts, and for the most part, people on YouTube aren't. Okay, they're not. The minute you say something that goes against what they're already feeling, people can't disagree. People can't even contest a particular viewpoint. Like, someone can't come in telling me I'm wrong and then explain why in a sensible manner. Now, it's always got to be some kind of big fucking show. I've never liked, and I've always felt really fucking patronized when other YouTubers do it, and it's why I refuse to do it. And this is kind of like another thing where people say that, oh, you treat your opinion as if it's fact. No, I fucking don't. Like, shut up with that. You fucking moron. Shut up with that. I don't treat my opinion as if it's fact. You know why people get this idea that I treat my opinion as if it's fact? It's because I'm confident in what I'm saying. It's because what I don't do is I don't spend at least 3 points in a given episode of Glass of Water. I don't spend at least 3 different sections of the video saying, now this is only my opinion, and if you disagree, that's okay. You're allowed to have your opinion, and I'm allowed to have mine, and we'll respect everything. I don't fucking do that. And you wanna know why I don't do that? It's because I hate it when other YouTubers do it. I find it's a complete waste of fucking time, and it's really fucking patronizing. I love Josh's content. I always roll my eyes at the start of every top 10 list where he has to assert, now this is only my opinion, because I feel I don't know. Do you guys feel patronized when you hear that? Like the YouTuber, and it's not just Josh who does this, it's a very common thing on YouTube. So many people do it. Real talk, guys. Do you feel? I'm genuinely asking you this, and I want you to answer it. Do you feel condescended to when you get that? As if the YouTuber in question just expects you to be this hysterical lunatic who's gonna charge in, going, "It's really about ethics." The minute you say something the minute you criticize something they like or praise something they don't like, I always do. I do. I feel very condescended to. I'm like, dude. Don't fucking talk to me like I'm 5. If someone did that in real life, I would be like, dude, don't fucking patronize me. Don't talk to me like I'm 5. Just spit it out and get it over with. But by and large, I've accepted that YouTubers are just going to do that because, well, despite my own wishful thinking, unfortunately, a lot of people on YouTube do in fact behave that way. They do. And there's very little getting around it. So I've accepted the fact that, most YouTubers are going to be doing that. I, on the other hand, refuse to do it. I will not do it. Ever. Because I hate it when YouTubers do it to me. Why on earth would I do it to you? Now, people do complain about this, strangely enough. They do complain, and I had one guy say, you really should state that this is only your opinion. It kind of seems like you're pushing your opinion on people, because you didn't state that it's only your opinion. And I actually said to the guy, well, you could very clearly tell that. You were easily able to infer that on your own. Why do I need to reinforce it to you? You're not an idiot. I know you're not. I know most of you are smarter than I have ever given you credit for. I know that. You guys are smarter than I make it look. Most people are aware of the fact that Glass of Water is a big fucking ham show. I put on more arrogance into Glass of Water than is ever actually present in me. Some people choose not to see that. Okay, some people choose to believe that that's just a cover, that I really am this smug and arrogant in real life. Whatever, that's on you, you're an idiot. But also, more to the point, I've always found this phrase, and it's a common phrase. I respect your opinion, even though I disagree with it. That's an oxymoron. That's an oxymoron, because if you disagree with an opinion, by proxy, that implies that you think that opinion is wrong. If you didn't think it was wrong, you wouldn't disagree with it. Something is wrong with that opinion, and that's why you disagree with it. Who in their right mind respects an opinion that they think is wrong? Okay? Who is it? Who? Nobody, that's who. So, the whole idea of, I respect your opinion even though I disagree with it is bullshit. I think what you really mean to say is you're about to contest what I said, but you're not about to be an ass about it. That's not respect, that's just basic civility, okay? It's basic politeness. It's stuff your mother teaches you when you're 5. So I've always encouraged my viewers to be like, no, don't disagree, contest. Have some actual confidence in yourself when you come in and contest. And it's not just it's not a matter of, I respect your opinion, but I disagree. I respect your opinion, but no, it's just, no, I don't think this is right, and this is why I don't think this is right. And you get a more interesting conversation, because when you get into the concept of, well, this is my opinion, every conversation becomes a stalemate. Okay? There's no point in engaging with someone, because once I hear that, well, my opinion is, I just stop reading. There's no point in engaging with them, because they're going to keep they're going to keep shuffling back with, well, it's my opinion. And it's like, well, what's the point of having the fucking discussion, okay? And I actually asked someone, is there any possibility that I can change your mind? And he went, no, because it's my opinion. And it's like, okay, and I just deleted the comment, because there's no point in engaging with someone if the conversation is going to go fucking nowhere. Sometimes I have conversations that aren't really going to end with anyone being convinced of anything. I have these kind of conversations with Josh all the fucking time, but that's a good friend I'm having that conversation with. So it's like a playful boxing match, okay? I don't really want to do that with every random viewer who's ever come into my comment section. And I don't believe that abstaining from that is treating my opinion as if it's fact. That is what someone says when they are just looking for shit to complain about. It's nitpicking is what it is. So despite claims otherwise, I don't believe most people, I know for a fact most people don't hate me, and I don't believe I'm particularly controversial, and I don't believe I'm particularly polarizing, okay? I have the actual metrics to back that up. I have the audience retention. I have the approval ratings. I have the increase in traffic, the increase in revenue, and the continued increase in subscribers. If I really was as controversial as people like to pretend that I am, then I would have more 50-50 dislike ratios. And I don't want to get caught in the mistake that having a quarter dislikes equals controversial. Because Tommy got stuck in that same mistake too, believing that, people were rejecting his content when they really weren't. I said this on Tumblr, and I kind of don't want to. I don't want it to seem like I'm picking on Tommy, but the big thing when he kind of had his big rage quit moment was kind of like complaining that people were just rejecting everything he said. But of course, you go to the actual videos, and it's like, well, no, that's clearly not the case. The majority of comments, the majority of the actual dislike ratio, 80% likes on most of his videos. Clearly, the people who are watching his videos loved his content. Where is this implication that people are rejecting his content coming from? It's typically because there's this attitude on YouTube that a quarter dislike ratio means that it was controversial. Oh, you really rustled some jimmies here. Well, no, I didn't. That's only a quarter. 1,000 people liked the video. 200 more people clicked dislike. That does not equal controversial. It never has and it never will, and you're an idiot for continuing to assert that. This is basic fucking math. I think this comes into the internet's propensity toward binary. This is the problem with the like and dislike button in general. Okay? I fucking hate the like and dislike system. And I've always hated it. And I wish I could just turn off the whole damn thing completely. But of course, YouTube's metrics for who they promote videos to is built into that. If you like videos, YouTube will share it more. The more popular you are, the more YouTube will recommend you. This is why everyone on this website has had YouTube try to suggest PewDiePie to them at least once. Why? Because he's a #1 subscriber on YouTube. So that's the channel YouTube's own algorithms are going to push on people more and more and more. That's how the system works. The rich get richer. So it's unfortunately a necessary evil, but it also creates these unbelievably ridiculous expectations of quality from the viewer. This is the problem with the like and dislike system. All you're given is a binary yes or no. Originally, we had the 5-star rating system, which allowed some variance. It's like, oh, I thought the video was okay. There's no setting for if you think a video is okay. There's no setting for that. There's no setting for if you think it was mostly good, but there's some issues that need to be fixed. There's nothing for that. You just give it a simple binary yay or nay. And most times it comes about to, did I agree with this? Yes. Did I disagree with anything in it? I'm going to dislike it. And that's not what the system's for. It tries to counterbalance this by showing the like and dislike ratio, but again, we've got this problem where if it's not 100% or 99% likes, we assume it was a controversial video because we're stuck in this mindset of something is either the greatest thing ever or it's the cancer of the world and needs to die. There is no middle ground for that. There's no middle ground for quality, despite a lot of critics attempting to convince people otherwise. Something's either great or it's shit. It's either the best thing or it's crap. This is my best in slot item and everything else is fucking dog shit. And so when the dislike bar is visible, is, significantly visible, and yeah, seeing a 25% dislike ratio cause something to be significantly visible, that immediately triggers in your brain, oh, this was a controversial video, even though it clearly isn't. And this suckers people in. Unfortunately, this makes fools of us all. It does. This makes fools of us all. It causes things to happen like, Tommy rage quitting the community because the perception of controversy is there. You only need to see 2 people getting their panties in a bunch to assume that controversy is there. That's all you've ever needed. You only ever need to have that one argument you had with a rage-fueled viewer will stick in your mind. The 80 million times someone's patted you on the back and said good job won't. The most I've ever seen is a small number of people getting pissy because I criticize something they like. Or they think I'm an elitist, or they think I'm arrogant, or they think I'm passing my opinion off as fact, or some other thing that's not actually a crime. And I get this question all the time, where from, smaller YouTube channels, where it's like, oh, someone said I was too arrogant, and I said, are you good at what you do? It's like, yeah, then tell that viewer to shut the fuck up. Because arrogance is only a crime if you can't back it up. If you have no skills, but you're completely fucking arrogant, and you think you're the most amazing thing in the world, which is pretty much what being a 16-year-old is, it's kind of what everyone, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm totally awesome, even though I'm crap at everything I've ever done. That's when being arrogant is a problem. If you're good at what you do, yes, I do believe I'm good at what I do. I'm not the best, but I'm good at what I do. Do I think I'm the smartest person in the world? No. No, not by a long shot. Nor do I want to be the smartest person in the world. Do I think I'm smarter than most of my audience? Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing. People are drawn, especially when it comes to people who do critique or commentary on YouTube. People are drawn to content creators who are smarter than them. They naturally are. Most of my audience is not going to be as smart as me, because if they were smarter than me, they wouldn't be watching me, I'd be watching them. That's how YouTube works. And I do watch the content creators who are smarter than me. I do watch Silver. I do watch Josh. I do watch Dr. Wolf. All these people are a lot smarter than I'll ever be. I tend to make ribs at them. It's like people are like, oh, I made that joke about Silvercool and Mr. Enter being full of shit in regards to Angel. Yeah, because, there's times I think it's like, no, you're very clearly blowing this out of... Angel Bunny is a thing that most people blow out of proportion. But yeah, Silver's smarter than me. Josh is smarter than me. Dr. Wolf is smarter than me. Most of the higher end people in the analysis community are smarter than me. They're better critics than me. They've been doing it longer than I am. I'm not much of a critic. I'm a little bit of a discussion guy, but if I sat down to try and review an episode, I wouldn't be very good at it. Somebody else would probably do it much better than I could. But so far, I'm the only person doing what I do. I'm the only person who does the kind of content that In a Minute is, unless you count reaction videos, which I personally don't, because reaction videos are a load of crap. And Glass of Water, I think the only other person doing this kind of thing where you take a particular topic and you discuss that as if it were an analysis video, I think the only person doing that is the Looney Turtle. That's the only one. I don't review episodes because I don't think I'm very good at it. I've tried to do it before. I tried this idea for a new series called Give Me a Break, where I take an episode that's particularly hated by the fandom for dumb reasons, like Spike at Your Service, and I try to talk about why this episode is not as bad as you think it is. And I scrapped it because it was kind of what made me realize I'm not cut out to actually review episodes. I can't do it. I can sort of give quick overviews of episodes. I mean, I can do the top 10 lists. You'll notice that in the top 10 best episodes, I would tend to focus on one particular aspect of an episode as to why I thought it was particularly good. I didn't look at the entire episode in review form. The simple reason being is that I've tried to do reviews. You haven't seen it for a very good reason. I'm not very good at it. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. I tend to play up the arrogance, and I know, and I tend to be arrogant in regards to my viewer base because I know for a fact that most of my viewers, and I get the feeling most of my viewers would admit this too, I am smarter than most of my viewers. And most of my viewers are relatively comfortable in that knowledge because that's why they watch me. They don't watch me because I'm dumber than them, they watch me because I'm smarter than them. That's not to say that my viewers are idiots, except for the few who seem to continue pushing some of the crap I've been talking about in this video. That's not to say my viewers are idiots. It's just that, everyone's on different levels. I have people who I'm smarter than. I also have people who are smarter than me, and I think I've been asserting that enough. Do I think I've justified my arrogance at times? Yes, of course. But bear in mind, guys, that I play up the arrogance a hell of a lot more And some people just choose, and I said this before, some people choose not to believe that. Some people choose to believe that I'm some kind of elitist prick who thinks it's the greatest thing in the fucking world. I don't. It's a fucking act done for humor. It always has been. I can sit there and be the most smug bastard in the world because I'm good at playing that kind of character. It's not that I'm like completely playing a character. I mean, I do have to bring a little bit of myself into the fucking show, but I'm reading off a script. I'm doing multiple takes. Of course it's not the 100% genuine me. But I think that puts that question... I think that this long drawn out, and I call these things rambles for a reason, because I do ramble. I think that puts that concern to rest. No, I'm not polarizing. By and large, people don't hate me. A few people do. Oh well. There's nothing I can do about that. And believe me, I've looked through the concerns most of the time. And by and large, they're repeated ad nauseum. It's the same 10 or 11 things constantly repeated over and over again. And I've looked through them and going, that's not true. You're misinterpreting this. This is something you just flat out fucking made up. And this isn't even actually a fucking crime. And it's not even an actual moral transgression in any way, shape, or form. And so it's just, look, you know what? You're gonna see what you want to see. Not much I can do about that. All I do is I just block that person and move on. That's all I can do. That's all I can really hope to do. Anyway, that's my ramble. I'll see you next time.